you used to go by Trax.
Yeah.
What's the history of that nickname?
Actually, there's a little story to that. Fat Joe gave me that name, kind of.
Yeah.
So I used to, so like you said, I've been producing for a long time, right? So my name that I came up with, this is in the Wu-Tang era, okay? A lot of scientific names.
Okay.
My name was Infinite the Architect, right?
All right.
And everybody used to call me ITA.
How old were you when that was your name?
I had to be 16, 17,
Oh, okay.
something like that. So I was Infinite the Architect. And I chose that name because I'm producing and I can build, you know what I mean? So that was my producer name because I'm building things forever. You know what I mean? Whatever.
I gotcha.
So I chose that name because I felt like nobody would ever have that name, right? And then I get a placement with Terror Squad with Fat Joe. And I'm at the studio with Fat Joe. I'm in New York. It's my second time up there and everything. And then they asked me, hey, what name are we putting on the credits? And I'm like, Infinite the Architect. That's my producer name. And Fat Joe was like, we already got the Infinite Architects on the album. And I was like, there was 2 producers named the Infinite Architects.
Wow, that happened to be on that album.
Yeah, that were already on that album. They did the single and everything. And I was like, I never thought anybody would have this name, bro. So now he's like, so I need a name for the splits and everything like that. And I'm like, shit, bro. So I was like, I just put it under, Don Sellers. That's my real name or whatever. So he did that, and then he's listening to more beats. And at that time, I was sampling, again, this is like the late 90s. So I was sampling like TV themes, like theme songs.
Yep.
And I was getting all from like the action shows, fucking A-Team and like whatever else. And also all my songs, all the beats sounded like action-packed. So Fat Joe was like, yo, all your tracks is action-packed. You action-packed tracks, right? So
that's a good impersonation, honestly. That's how he sounds.
Said. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, he was like, that's what they should call you, action-packed tracks. And I was like, all right. Well, I was like, well, let's put AP Tracks for short. He was like, yeah, AP Tracks. So he put AP Tracks.
Okay.
And that was and then it just turned to AP Tracks. And then.
How long that stick, the Trax name?
AP Tracks turned to Trax Trigger because I had to make a new tag.
Okay.
And back then, hardly any producers had tags, but I had one that was like, Trax, and people was like, I like when it's like scratching, like track.
Yeah, yeah.
And so then they just kept saying track, and that turned to Trax Trigger, and then it just became Trigger, and then it was Trax, and then I was done with that in 2014.
Okay. Lasted a while, that name.
Yeah. That name lasted from like 98, 99 to like,
Gotcha.
Like,
that explains, I guess, why your Apple Music goes back to like 2015, your projects and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's when I first dropped my first solo.